Honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Melodrama upon melodrama.
This is a total
Shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense.
He was miles off it yesterday.
You'll learn a lot more if you listen rather than talk all
Plenty
the
of
time.
time, no problem.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast. Premier League is back
It's happened.
with some amazing games. Well, probably the best games I've seen all summer. I know. That's a terrible start. I don't know why I said that. That's not true. I'm trying to be positive, though. You don't want to be negative on the first day, but I mean...
Come on. Is football just bad? Is that what the problem is?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of, like, the best opening days. I mean, the one I can think of that stands out is the rise of Michu. Remember that? He came from nowhere and scored like a hat-trick on his first day for Swansea.
Yeah.
Whoa, who's that player, you know? No stars were born this weekend. Well, I think we can say that. I mean, all the teams that you thought would win. It's very early to make sweeping statements about how their season is going to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Except for one team. There's one team that we're all pretty sure how it's going to turn out for. They lost to Man City.
Yes, that was probably the big fixture. If you're looking through the list there, you'd say Chelsea City, that'd be a good game.
Wrong.
No. I can see why you think that, but after the summer they've had, I didn't expect anything more than this. Like, there is good players in that Chelsea team, but God knows if they know what they're doing, you know, because if there's any plan there at all. City, for their lot, I mean, you might think, well, why didn't City destroy them then? I mean, good question. They were missing a few players themselves.
Yeah.
You know, I think they were probably looking at this season of maybe this was meant to be the rising star of Oscar Bob, you know, but he broke his foot or his leg last week.
He's out for a long time anyway, yeah, and they started immediately. A real sign of the times where, I don't know if you saw the rumours, came out straight away. They're like, they're going to buy Eze. Let's just do that. Just totally destroy a different club in the league.
That was the thought that they had that kind of lined up, so they'll have to replace them. And they haven't done it yet. They just decided to start with the players they had. But they're also missing Rodrigo. Phil Foden came on off the bench. Apparently it's the first time he's trained or played since the Euros final.
A Euros where he wasn't particularly great and he looked exhausted as well.
De Bruyne was still playing. He was still there. But and so was Haaland. You know, they still had some good players out there. You know, don't get me wrong. They had some good players out there. But it wasn't their full strength team. And they maybe took a while to get going. Did you feel bad for Cucurella, or do you think this is your own fault, pal?
Yuck, yeah, you can't be poking the bear like this all summer, especially in a tournament where he's not even at. You know, you win the Euros, you're like, suck it, Haaland, you could never do this. But yeah, Jesus, he paid for it immediately by being bowled over and then conceding a goal. He was absolutely bullied all game by Haaland.
Yeah, when you look back at it, you think, wow, 80 minutes in, that was pretty straightforward. But I mean, they started, as we say, with a team that they probably didn't want to start initially a few weeks ago, with Doku on the right and Savinho on the left.
Yeah.
And it's mad. Doku had no idea how to play on the right.
Yeah.
He kept on to cut inside, but he was already inside. So he had to cut into his left. He had one chance there where he kicked it so bad, that must have been deflected. His left leg is just like not for shooting, you know? And they went, all right, let's change it over. They changed it over 15 minutes. And then immediately it's like, oh yeah, no, I know what to do now. I cut in on the right. This is much easier. But before that, Cucurella was like really bossing Doku on that side. And I don't think Savinho did that well later on in the game. Savinho didn't do much, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just so happened that Haaland got in between the two centre backs, which was Fofana and whatever. So then, of course, Cucurella goes, well, I'll come over and try and help. Like, you're already coming over trying to help. You already laid the bar.
Bang!
He held him off a little bit. Cucurella then put his hands up, like, oh, I don't want to touch him. It's like, well, even if you did touch him, you probably wouldn't do anything. But he just kind of goes as far as him. Haaland raises an arm. He's like, I'm not going to touch him. And then he just thinks of the keeper. So, yeah, broad strokes. You look at the screenshots, you go, oh, he was bodied by Haaland. Like, he wasn't really. You know, Haaland just scored it and Cucurella was there. It looked kind of like, well, Remember the song you sang?
Yeah.
On Haaland. I mean, this is why you don't do that, you know.
The real body, and I think it was after the game. I don't know if you saw what Haaland said about it. He was asked, "What do you think of Cucurella, you know, singing that song about you during the summer?" And Haaland said, "He's a funny man. Last season he asked for my shirt. This season he sings a song about me." Which is a nice two-parter of like, all of us, like last year he was buddy, now he's not. And also a double whammy of he's obsessed with me.
Yeah, it's pretty devastating. Last season he asked for my shirt. I guess, you know, he thinks he's too big for me. Now, once he has my shirt, he can start singing songs with me. Then one of that story was one of the many shit-talking stories about Michael Jordan, where he was talking shit to somebody, some rookie or whatever. And then Michael Jordan looked down at his feet and he was wearing Jordans.
Yeah.
And he said, "I should have him take my shoes off you." You know, and like there's no comeback. You know, it's like shit. Like, I mean, what do you want to say to that? Like, you're wearing his branded shoes and you're talking shit about him. It's like, come on. If you've asked for his shirt the season before, it's like you can't like pretend like you're bigger than me.
Yeah,
you
singing about how he's trembling in his boots when he's there.
You were trembling in your boots. You asked for my autograph, pal. You know, like it just. It big dogs him straight away. You can't come back from that kind of embarrassment.
Yeah. And then, he's not in a club that's set up well to protect him in games like this either, because, my God, everything everyone said about Chelsea during the summer, we said as well, like, well, they must have some kind of grand plan. Like, they must have it all figured out. Minute by minute, it seems like, no, they literally have no idea. And the problems have started to pop up.
Yeah. The only thing I saw to rationalize what they're doing was they're waiting for the charges to come and have a transfer ban for 2 years, and that's why they're stockpiling players. But that doesn't really make any sense either.
Just don't have the players. Just don't get a transfer ban. You don't have to worry about it.
Well, I feel like it's already coming. I feel like that's coming down the line. So like, let's stockpile players quickly before it happens, you know, before they catch us. But what is it, 44, 48 players? I've heard different numbers.
Yeah, we are
40 plus players on their squad.
Yeah, 40 plus players. They are bringing in. They have about 7 left wingers. They have about 8 goalkeepers. Like, it's obvious this is never going to work. And I saw a mad fact. They had 0 players that played in the Champions League winning team a few years ago in their opening day squad there.
Yeah, the only player on the pitch was Mario Kovacic, who would score against them.
Who they've spent 320 million to try to replace.
Yeah, devastating. Again, another devastating fact there for Chelsea players and fans to digest. Yeah, it was just... I'd say this about City. Like, they do recruit well and all the rest, but that is quite lucky.
Yeah,
to get Chelsea on the first day of the season away, which is a tough place for a lot of teams to go. Like, later on in the season, Chelsea could be going well.
Yeah,
they just certainly could be going better than they are now. But then you'll have them at home.
Yeah,
so you'll have the advantage. Like, that's just the kind of luck that like they seem to get. You know, I'm not saying that.
Never anyone else.
I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm not saying it's anything else. I'm just saying, like, that is just quite fortunate that you come across this massive club on the first day when all your players are gone, when Rodri's still taking a rest, when Foden's still not back.
Yep.
You get a nice easy run in against one of the bigger teams.
Yeah,
you know, I think they play Ipswich next, don't they?
Yes, they do, at home.
You know, like, that's just fortunate. That's the kind of luck you need to win a title. You know.
Yeah, and they're coming in. You were saying, like, the Oscar Bob's injured now. A replacement they could potentially get, if they're interested, is Raheem Sterling before the game. Literally seconds before the game started, put out a statement basically saying, "This is bollocks that I'm not in the squad and I'm not happy about it." Which we've seen, has this ever worked out for player or club ever? Lukaku is still at Chelsea now because of doing this.
Well, to be fair, it was Sterling's camp, and they identified themselves as a camp.
How much people does he have at his camp? Why does anyone have a camp?
Do you have the statement there now?
I do have the statement here, yeah. So he said, Raheem Sterling's representatives want clarity about the forward's future at Chelsea after being left out of the opening day squad. In a statement, his representative said Sterling has a good working relationship with new manager Enzo Maresca, but there was an expectation he was to be involved in Sunday's match. He returned to England 2 weeks early to conduct individual training and has had a positive preseason under the new coach. He is committed as ever to deliver at the highest level for Chelsea and the fans, who he holds in high regard. As a camp, we have always had a positive dialogue with and assurance from Chelsea in relation to Raheem's future at the club. Until then, we continue to support Raheem's desire to start the new season positively. So basically, what the fuck? Why am I in the team? You said I was going to be in the team, man.
I mean, did you see that free kick, Sterling? It was all over social media. You know, that's what I'm thinking of when I think of your time at Chelsea. It can be summed up into a few moments.
Yeah, I like that he's like, I was sure I was going to be in the squad. I'm not involved in the Chelsea camp at all. You could have told me Sterling won't be in the opening day squad. I would have gone, yeah, that makes sense. They have like 8 of them now.
Yeah, why did they buy Pedro Neto if they thought Sterling was any good?
Yeah, like, it doesn't make sense. His time has been up for ages, since Mudryk came in, I suppose. But the manager was asked about it, and he said, look, the manager has to make some decisions. Sometimes players don't like it. That's normal. Just a technical decision, no more than that. And then he was asked, would he like Raheem Sterling, to stay? Does he want him to be sold?
I want Raheem Sterling, but I want all the 30 players that we have, but there is no space for all of them. So for some of them, they have to leave.
Interesting about that is that there's 13 extra players he missed out on, I guess, yeah. or give or take. Again, I'm not really sure. But that is the ultimate, like, dad forgetting how many kids he has kind of move as well. Like, I love all my 2 kids. Like, you have 4 kids. It's like, yeah, them too, the other ones, It's crazy that he would even take on this job.
Yeah. Like, for 8 years. He has an 8-year contract.
Yeah, sure. He'll be there in 2038 or whatever.
He'll be getting paid until then, either way, yeah.
I mean, like, okay, whatever. He's a coach and he'll get paid out of it. But I mean, someone like Pedro Neto.
Yeah.
Or Dewsbury Hall. Now, Dewsbury Hall apparently is a disciple of Maresca from his Leicester days. So he likes the cut of his jib.
Can I buy one of my own guys while we're buying everybody?
Sure, the more the merrier. Did you see actually the clip of the gym?
No.
of the Chelsea gym. It's like any gym on January 1st. It's just like 50 lads. Well, not 50 lads, 43 lads in the gym, like people queuing for benches. Like just like unknown players all in the same Chelsea gym.
I did see there was someone being subbed on, and someone had a tweet up of just like the player standing on the sideline. That just said, genuinely, who the fuck is this?
Yeah. I mean, I just, for someone like, who's your man, the guy who scored last year, the Chelsea, one of their own, Gilchrist.
Yeah.
Remember him?
Barely.
He was like, this is it. I'm breaking into the first team. And then like 20 players later, like, no, dude. You'll probably never play the first team again, actually.
You'll be sold for
pure profit.
Yeah. Is Conor Gallagher still there as well? Have I heard that right?
God. I think he's still in the airport in Madrid, wondering. He keeps ringing, what flight will I get back? And they keep dodging his calls.
I was thinking that as like, if anyone's putting out a statement, it's not Raheem Sterling. It should be poor Conor Gallagher.
That's funny you mentioned it, because I think he was the captain last year. He played most of the games when he wasn't playing. Or no, he was playing. He was captain because Reece James was
injured.
The main captain. Then it goes down to Conor Gallagher. I think then it goes to Ben Chilwell, who's also injured. I'm not sure who else is injured or who isn't available, but the captaincy has landed, out of all people, Enzo Fernandez. Playing alongside Fofana. I think it was Fofana's first like competitive game since 2023, and then he has to line up behind his captain, Enzo Fernandez. He's like, oh, fucking hell.
It's, I was thinking when all this was going on, because it's just like one thing after another. Is this what it was like for everyone else watching Man United over the last 10 years? Just like an absolute clown show.
Not nearly this bad. This has been so truncated, like this summer. Like, because when you think back to May, when it was Pochettino and they actually finished strong, I was like, okay, there's something here. To now, where Pochettino is now manager of the US national team, I'm pretty sure.
He's done. He's given up. He said, all right, I've been fucked over one too many times.
You've had a race row with your captain and your starting centre back. You have like 43 players. Like from last May, you said this, Chelsea fan, they're going, why? What happened? What went wrong?
Nothing. It was kind of all their own doing. It was kind of just for the crack.
See that guy in the stand leaving early to make a statement of his own? Todd Bowley? Yeah, he's going to continue doing what he's been doing so far.
Yeah, that as well, of like, as soon as the second City goal went in, cameras pan to Todd Bowley and he makes like a big song and dance of I'm leaving early. This isn't good enough. I'm not going to stand for this. Maresca, you're on your last legs.
He looks well though, Todd. He got the hair cut. Like he had the kind of messy hair, black t-shirt kind of look going for a while. He's got the pastel suit and the nice kind of hair. It's like, I didn't get dressed up for this. And then, heads off. But I don't know. I saw a few people putting them in their like top 6, 7. And where do we put them? I probably put them top 4 today. I forget the predictions already.
As well. I don't think.
Oh no!
4. We'll have to look back on that. We might be immediately wrong.
Fuck! Did I put them top 4?
I don't think so.
Damn it! Yeah, no, they look bad. They look bad, and I don't see a lot of hope for them if they are looking down the barrel of another charges or point deduction or something like transfer ban. I don't know, but it feels like they are preparing for something big to come with all these players coming. That's the only explanation. Like, what else would they be stockpiling for?
Yeah, and I think they really are in trouble because, like, how do you fix this situation? Normally, like, if your team's not good enough, the squad's not working, you sell lads and you buy lads. But you can't, like, there's no more left to buy. You know what I mean? And you're never going to sell these boys on 9-year deals, 10-year deals. Why would they ever leave? So, yeah, they're immediately, in the space of 2 years, have just totally turned the club upside down.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see now the next 2 weeks because, okay, you've left these players out of the squad. Sterling has made this statement. He's like kind of the representative of like, I'm actually a good player.
Yeah.
I should be playing, or I should definitely be on the squad. If they just go, well, that's football, then they're going to go, oh no, I have 2 weeks to get out of here, or else I'm not going to play football this year. I'm going to be like completely, like I'm on the squad.
Yeah.
I'm not even on the 21 squad. I'm just going to be like, okay, you're still getting paid, but like, I think they're trying to scare these people into force and move themselves. Some of the ones they want to get rid of.
Why buy them then? Do you know what I mean? It's only been 6 months since you bought these lads. You're like, we have to get rid of Sterling.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess like, say you sell Sterling to, whatever, Saudi Arabia or wherever. And then you want to buy Pedro Neto. Now, okay, they did pay 60 million for him. I'm not sure how much more Wolves would charge for him. But just say it's 80 actually, because we know you need him because you sold Sterling. Maybe that was their thinking.
Yeah.
You get the sense that they don't know what they're doing. Is what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah, very much.
It's one or the other. They have absolutely no idea how to buy. Like, you should sell someone before you buy someone, or it's the opposite where they're like intentionally stockpiling. They don't want Sterling to leave. They want him to. Yeah. I don't know. I think time will tell, but there could be a complete exit in the next 2 weeks of like Gallagher, Lukaku, Sterling. Like, right, time to go.
Time to turn the club around.
time to turn my car on and get out of this purgatory I find myself in for the year, because I'm not going to get a game maybe this year or next year. So I need to, because someone like Lukaku's 31, Sterling 29. Like, you're not getting younger. You have to just you have to get out, and Chelsea aren't going to do anything for you. They're not going to sell you, so you have to make your own move. You have to come to them with an offer. Like,
yeah, I saw someone tweeting about it as well. It's so true that like Todd Bowley, he feels like he's the last remaining like Premier League, big money, no plan man. Like, all the other clubs are kind of boring and well run now, or they're at least getting there. He's like the last one standing of just like, I don't really care what happens. I just know I'm angry about it when we don't win.
As I mentioned, Steve look pretty good. Pretty confident of my prediction that they're going to win. As I said, they still have players to come back.
Yeah.
So they'll be fine. They don't seem to get Deadwood a lot, do they?
No, they're too well run. I'd say they go through like 10 different scenarios before they sign a player to make sure, is this guy the guy? And I'd say it's like that from top to bottom. Do you know what I mean? Like, of the lowest to the low guy they get in is like, are we going to use him 200 times?
Yeah, I mean, Calvin Phillips is one I can think of. Maybe Matthias Nunez as well. They aren't as good maybe as other players. But I think any player that does come in, they all play the same way.
Yeah.
And that's probably thanks to Pep. But I mean, I don't know, seeing Kovacic there, scoring that goal, like just powering past Enzo and Caicedo in the middle. And it's like, all right, like, joke, this guy's Rodgers' backup. Do you know what I mean? And City were the only team that would have bought him because of his injury record. People said, well, we had to pay him so much, it would have cost so much, it's not worth the risk. Whereas City were like, oh no, you can just replace the guy you used that for us before in Gundogan. He was always injured, but used to come on some of the time and play a bit. You know, it's like they could afford to have him there. Like that was the exact reason he was brought in. When Rodri wasn't available, you can play. And yeah, you can win the game if you want, you know, up to you.
It's up to you.
Like no one else could afford to have him, because if you had him and he wasn't playing, like, this is crazy. He's our best player. We need to get him playing. They're like, yeah, recover as long as you want. We got Rodri holding down, so it's all good actually. You know, it's just the recruitment is good, but then something like that is like, well, that is a luxury player to have, because he's not going to be fit for 38 games. He doesn't need to be.
And if you think even like, imagine any other club in the Premier League getting rid of Cole Palmer the way they did. There'd be uproar. Yeah. This guy is the future. He's going to drag this club to the league someday. But they were just like, whatever, fuck off. Go to Chelsea, as if you'll turn them around, mate.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, if it wasn't for the injury, Oscar Bob would have come in on that exact place where Cole Palmer would have played and probably been pretty good this year.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely star boy season, next new guy, yeah.
As it is, they'll have to just revert back to the old De Bruyne as attacking mid and Foden as right wing and Doku on the other side. So they'll have to do. Maybe next year we'll find the next star boy. But like, there's still coverage. I mean, this the level of squad they have. It's part of really good recruitment, and obviously they kind of developed the likes of Cole Palmer and Foden, but then also just the luxury of being able to pay Kovacic and not worry that he doesn't play most of the time, and know that he can't possibly play all the time, but it's fine because
Grealish. When's the last time you heard of him?
Yeah, do you know, him on the bench there as well. Yeah, you can't really look past them. And now, look, it's early days. It's early days to be making these type of statements. I mean, you look at Arsenal day one and Havertz scored, and I was like, oh, it's all on track. But I think you got to give it 4 games anyways before you figure out are they better or worse than last season. United won, of course. You know, again, like, they bought a striker who scored his debut. When is that ever a bad thing?
Yeah.
But you just can't tell. It's too early to tell.
Yeah.
What else was there? Was a fractious game in Newcastle? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. I saw the Chelsea City one. I saw the Everton game, and I of course saw the United highlights. It's funny. I realized that football is like a weird. It's basically just like an addiction after a while. Because I was at Nas, who's like my fucking favorite rapper of all time. I worship Nas.
Yeah,
and I spent half the gig casually glancing down at my phone and refreshing to see the score in the United game. And I was like, I don't even care. Like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty inconsequential first day of the season, you know.
How's Xerxes getting on?
But there was a sending off in the Newcastle game. Schär got sent off for, you know, the classic, they square up and then you put your head in first and he goes down like a ton of bricks.
Classic, yeah.
Got him. Got his ass, you know.
There is nothing more infuriating than when your own player does that. I remember Fellaini did it against Aguero.
Oh,
and
yeah.
For years after, I was like, what a fucking idiot. Of course he was going to go down.
That's what we want you to do. Darwin Núñez did it last year as well. Same thing.
Yeah.
The Anderson, when just went down in stage, it's like, he got you. He baited you and you took the bait. And then Dan Burn was fighting in the tunnel at halftime as well. Big Dan Burn was grabbing lads by the throat.
Fun fact, do you know what I learned about Dan Burn? Do you know he only has 3 fingers on one of his hands?
I did not know that.
Me neither, until I saw a photo of him. I thought, is this AI? And then I looked at more photos of him. No, he only has 3 fingers on one of his hands for some reason.
Damn,
that's
weird.
There you go. The more you know.
I feel like I would have known that before. You know, it's strange. Yeah, that was all the fancy experts were like, get fucking Isak in. This is going to be 5-4-0. This is didn't work out that way, did it? No. You fucking idiots. You know, Captain Isak. He fucked me in the first. I think he's like 56% owned in the game as well. I was like, this is all, everyone's watching the same reels. These fucking know-it-all idiots. Yeah, that was a 1-0 win for them. Again, you can't tell anything about Newcastle because I think tonight's going to come back, and it's day one. Yeah, everybody relax.
Yeah, calm down, chill out.
There was a bad start also for the, I guess the VAR Corporation now it's expanding every year to more arms. They're now their marketing arm. The newly created Twitter page, I guess X page, Premier League Match Center. Basically what the Premier League Match Center is a representative from the VAR team across all the games will tweet out the decisions, the outcomes, and the reasoning for them. So I mean, for example, there's one there in the City Chelsea game, the Kovacic handball that wasn't Stonewaller last year.
Yep.
Because his arms are out, which, as we all know, completely unnatural. Who puts their arms out when they're running? This season, they're like, too close, natural position. We all run their arms. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade here. He was balancing, So they just tweet out like, yeah, ball hit arm, natural position, all good. Like it's fine until it's not fine. Until there's one that's like not black and white.
Yeah, exactly.
And then what are they going to tweet out? That's what we're all waiting for. The ones that like you can refer to the rules. That's pretty obvious. Good call. There was one in the Everton game. That penalty. The referee, there was a penalty in the Brighton Everton game. Calvert-Lewin looked like he was taken out by Dunk. Referee gave a penalty. Then VAR called to the screen. Screen wasn't working that we could see, but apparently there was a backup screen somewhere, which was showing them the stuff. Who knows? So the Premier League Match Centre tweeted out, the referee awarded a penalty to Everton for a foul by Dunk on Calvert-Lewin. The VAR recommended an on-field review as he deemed Calvert-Lewin's foot landed on Dunk's foot and there was no foul. The referee overturned the original decision and play. Now, all right, you think, well, that's reasonable. Sean Dyche didn't think so.
No, he didn't.
Nah. Joke, I'm pretty sure he said. It's a Stonewaller,
He could have some kind of dialogue. Maybe he could reply to that tweet, but no, they've disabled the ability to reply for some reason.
This isn't a forum. This is FYI. This is what's happening. But it is funny because they're going down this, like, they're trying to be as official and black and white as possible, tweeting out this reasoning. And then you get Sean Dyche coming out and be like, nah, bollocks. Nah, I don't think so. It kind of undermines it a little bit. I mean, will he be fined for that? Or will they just ignore that he's like, I disagree fundamentally with their interpretation of their own rules. I think it's bullshit. I think they're cheating us again. Because it's a staple of like a manager things like, well, the decision went against us. It wasn't because we're shite. It's they're bloody referees. They're screwing us. You deflect from the whole thing, but. Watch that space, I think. There's already been a few different parodies of it, which no one's been caught yet, I don't think.
No, but they look near identical, apart from some pretty funny words generally in their versions of the tweets. But coming to a dad near you, you're about to hear a very angry uncle or something in the coming weeks who's going to think the Premier League is laughing at his team.
Well, in the Palace game, Eze scored a great goal, but it had to be called back for a free that was pulled. So the Premier League Match Centre parody in brackets said, a beautifully timed whistle by the ref for no reason whatsoever denies Eze and Palace a goal. Unfortunately, we could not intervene on this occasion as Palace are not one of the top 6.
That tweet also has been seen over 1 million times. So I guarantee at least a few 100,000 people are seething right now.
I mean, it's worded in a way it's quite obvious. I think even for the most dense people, I think you could probably think, oh, it's parodying the name. I mean, it's the one that tried to not be parody. Like this one just says in its bio, it says parody kind of, which I guess is like a poke at the Premier League. But I think that it's fairly obvious a parody. And they're covering their bases for anyone who tries to say this is misinformation. It's like, it's clearly a joke. We've labeled that, very clearly.
Everyone reads the bio before they read the tweets. Relax.
Always. They always do that. No, it was not a good day for Everton, who are bottom of the table.
Yes.
Actually, Will. Brighton won 3-0. Convincingly in the end. At the start, Everton didn't look too bad, but I think the damage has been done probably in the transfer window. Right back starting was Ashley Young, who I think kind of falls into the category, Will, of like who we were saying before when Henry came back for that 1 year, or Johnny Evans. Like, all right, well, enough is enough now with this. Like it's a stopgap. You can't start the season.
He now has longer stints here than other clubs he's been at. Like it's like this should have been a one and done. Then he's off into the sunset. You can't still be starting.
Yeah. And like on the bench with Seamus Coleman, who maybe is injured or whatever. I think he might have done a little better, but like it was against Karmatoma.
Yeah.
He has a PhD in dribbling, folks. But that's the last person you want to put against Ashley Young, the guy who's really, really good at dribbling and really fast, you know. No surprise it ended in the red card for Ashley Young, who pulled him back, but he would have been in for a goal. I mean, they scored the third goal in the end anyways. Yeah. But like, you know, what was the plan there in the summer to not buy a right back?
Well, I think their issue, it's not that they're not even planning ahead. I think they're just fucking broke. Because I don't even think we covered it, but during the summer, I think it was the third or fourth person who was lined up to finally buy the club. Save us from our debt, from this crippling stadium we're building that's fucking us. And then once they got a look at the books, they immediately pulled out of the deal. So they must be in big trouble. And it seems like as time gets closer and closer, this is their last season in Goodison Park. They're about to move into their new stadium next season, which they cannot afford. And then there's points deductions coming apparently. If they go down to the championship and you're in a big new stadium, you could be really fucked. So I'm sure they're like, Ashley Young will have to do. Hopefully we can just survive for a few weeks.
Yeah. The defense is definitely an issue. And you know what? I think Sean Dyche needs to knock it off with this Burnley Mafia thing, Will.
Oh, yeah.
Will Keane and Tarkovsky. You have one of the best centre-backs in the country in Jacob Bryan on the bench. Our country, that is. Ireland, not England. But that's true, Will. He's one of the best centre-backs in Ireland.
He scored a goal in the French Cup final. Didn't win, but he scored in it.
I'm half joking because I've never watched Jacob Bryan play. I don't know anything about him. But it is quite exciting to know that like as a young Irish player who's come from the continent, Will, you know, to the Premier League for big money. And then he's not playing. Like, I wish he would have been playing. Especially when I saw Braithwaite wasn't playing and Keane was. I was like, surely he's better than Keane, you know?
Yeah.
And a lot of Everton fans thought the same thing because Keane obviously started, which is like, all right, that's something. Maybe Jacob Bryan is match fit. I don't know. But apparently at the 85th minute, there was a mass walkout when they brought on Mason Holgate to booze.
Oh, that never good.
Yeah, apparently him and Keane had been shopped around in the summer, and everyone was like, "Nah, you're good. No thanks." Or people made some offers, but the money was too big because Mason Holgate not too long ago was like this up and coming Everton player. Oh, he's going to be the centre back future. Hasn't really panned out, but he's already been given 70 grand a week. So if you're trying to sell him on to an MK Dons or someone else in the championship or something like that, they're not paying 70 grand a week. And he's like, well, then I'm not going.
Yeah, why
the hell would I?
Yeah.
I'll go there on a free later on. So they don't like Mason Holgate because he's not leaving. And the sight of him coming on is like, oh, so there's been no progress. We're still playing this guy.
We were talking about this last season, or maybe 2 seasons ago now, when Dyche came in. It's like, it's all well and good when Dyche keeps you up, but over time you do get ground down into like, we are now a relegation team. Like every year, in and out, it never changes. This is how we play, and it's all about surviving now. There's never any concept of like, okay, on to the next season now. It's like, phew, thank fuck that's over.
Yeah. No, they brought in Sean Dyche to do the job of being a surviving team because I knew they didn't have any money to give him.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is someone who's not going to demand any more than what we have.
Yeah.
But like, they lost to, Brighton are good. Obviously they're really good. Matoma and Welbeck, and it's, they keep losing their manager and then another manager comes in and it's seamless, I mean, it's mad for a team like Brighton to just like never lose a step, no matter what players they lose, what managers they lose. It's crazy. But at the same stage, it's Brighton at home. It's not Man City away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So to lose to them, and they'll probably finish anywhere between like 11th and 7th, so like you're already looking down the barrel of a relegation battle because if all those teams ahead of them will definitely beat you at home as well, you're right back down there. Like that's where the goal is out, just to stay up at the first day of the season. It's like, I hope we can stay up this season. It's really not looking good for them.
No, and again, if they get another points deduction, you fought it away once, you fought back a second one. Surely the third point deduction, even the players are like, okay, I'm not arsed with this anymore. Just let me go. I want to go down to the championship and leave.
Yeah, no, it'd be hard to attract players to everything because that the money isn't going to be there. There's not going to be investment in the squad. I mean, they sold Onana there in the summer for 60 million. They brought Jacob Bryan in for 20 million. Like, they're still in the green, basically, from the different transfers they've made. Because, like I said, they need the money as well from transfers. Like, you're now just, like, selling any decent players you have for money, trying to replace people around as good. You know, they're going down. I mean,
yes, it's happening. It's happening. Confirmed.
I feel like this could be the year, you know. With if there's Chargers in the middle of this, I just don't think they'll have the fight in them to do it again. Like last year was crazy that they came back from those Chargers and, you know, almost got relegated and they came back again. To do it again, this is a terrible start.
Yeah.
And then if they get more charged at some point, I just don't see it happening. You know, I really don't see them doing it.
No, and like last season as well, they were kind of lucky to be in a season with Luton and who were the other teams that came up last year that all went straight back down? Like this year it's Leicester and Southampton, and like they're going to do well. Leicester will do fine, I'm sure. They haven't lost, like they still have a pretty good team. So I don't know. It doesn't feel shocking anymore that Everton could be relegated once and for all from the Premier League.
Well, I think Leicester are favourites to go down, actually.
Really?
They have impending charges.
Oh, of course. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
They wait till they get promoted and then send them back down.
Do you remember when you didn't watch the Italian league? You went, sure, that's a fucking bullshit league. They're all corrupt and crooked over there, you know? So many scandals over that league. That's a joke of a league. It hasn't really recovered from that, Will. You know,
I did see someone tweeting like huge 3 points there for Man City in either a title winning season or potentially relegation fighting.
Yeah, I mean it was a relegation 6-pointer between City and Chelsea potentially. Do you know what I mean? If there's like points deductions coming, it's strange. There's definitely a cloud above this season already. I think there's a lot of like 3 different teams potentially like, oh, we might get charged a couple of points. That never happens. Until last year, that didn't happen all the time. There's 3 different teams like, yeah, we might get done. You know, the vibe caught us. Oh, you caught me. Was it 8 points, 6 points? You know when this never happened, Will?
When was that?
The 90s.
Yeah, hell yeah, what a time.
Life was perfect.
Yeah.
Everything was baggy jeans. Skinny jeans weren't even on the radar. Yeah. It wasn't a concept. It was just everything was baggy, everything was cool. It was really competitive. That wasn't Man United win all the time. Loads of teams could win. But actually, you know, if you're a Man United fan, you don't care about that last bit. It's a new season, so you got new ads. Well, I was only saying this, 2 weeks ago, I think. What happened to all the great ads we had growing up? You know, that made us want to buy things and have things. You know, I want more of those ads. Ask and you shall receive. Adidas have released a series of ads for the teams they support. Arsenal had one, which I wasn't mad about, to be honest. It was a bit kind of all over the place. Full of references I didn't get, essentially. I think there was Did you see the cap guy? Have you heard about this? Have you seen this?
I know of the cap guy. I've seen him mentioned for not enough to be the centerpiece of an ad.
there was a memory of my mind of seeing an article or a reel, or I was like, oh yeah, maybe it's for the match going fans. I don't know. Maybe I'm outing myself as a plastic fan here. I don't know, but the one that I watched fully and was blown away by, really, for different reasons, was the Man United Adidas ad. It is just jam-packed full of nostalgia for literally something that didn't exist ever.
Yeah. It's mad. They also got Starboy, Barry Keoghan in as well.
Well, this is it. Barry Keoghan is the voice of that. I mean, should we play a little bit of the ad? I mean, it's obviously actually, you know what? We'll set the scene first before we play.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
So it's 90s Manchester. We all know it. We all grew up there.
Yeah.
You're in a 90s Manchester. Barry Keoghan leaves his council house or whatever. He's down the street. There's lads playing football in the street. Street footballers, you know. And he's on his way to Old Trafford. Oh, no. That's too big time for this ad. They're headed to the Cliff.
So some younger fans probably don't know the Cliff. The last time they heard of it was probably 2 months ago when there was a news report about skeletons being uncovered beside it.
I'll be honest with you, Will. I had never heard of the Cliff because I was born in 1993. So I I wasn't aware of the Cliff.
Yeah, see, I'd known the Cliff, but only from like watching documentaries when I was younger and stuff, because the cliff is where like all those famous pictures of Alex Ferguson sitting at the desk and stuff are.
And Barry Keoghan now as well.
And Barry Keoghan also, yeah. It's not really clear what year it's supposed to be, I will say.
Well, this is the thing, right? It's an Adidas ad, right? They're starting on the stage. He's heading down to the cliff with the lads, and he's giving this kind of monologue. You know, it cuts Luke Shaw getting like a really shitty looking cup of tea in the cafeteria, and he's wearing his Adidas gear. It's like, all right, well, hang on, lads. One of the most like noticeable things of the United 90s was the Umbro kits, because they're a Manchester brand. Like you just like this is an alternate reality of the 90s. Like this kit never existed. Like the Adidas originals, where they bring back stuff they used to make. This is like a derivative thing of like a kit that didn't even exist. It's like this is like a 90s kit.
It's a retro kit, but it's not a remake. It's a totally new retro kit.
but like completely derivative of like a style from 30 years ago. And then the whole tagline is, you can't beat an original. It's like, it's not original. None of this is original. It's like, it's all nostalgia.
It has the song from Trainspotting playing over it.
Yeah, Born Slippy is playing. It's the 90s. It's unmistakably like the 90s of Manchester and red bricks. And it's like, you've got the three star boys sitting for the entire ad. They're sat on the dugout. Holland, the now irrelevant Holland, thanks to Zerkski. What a mistake that was by Adidas. Holland, Garnacho, Menu, and they're just like sitting on the dugout watching the kind of people play, the normal people, people like Angry Ginge, the
millionaire Angry Ginge,
millionaire streamer Angry Ginge is playing, and there's like a moment where like I think he tries to bicycle kick it, and Garnacho's like, oh, the bicycle kick, and then he misses it, and then they laugh, and it's like they're not as good as us.
Yeah,
all while Barry Keoghan is like talking about nothing.
Literally, like I tried to listen to him. I've made this comparison to other stuff in the past, but it's like listening to the sound of a fridge after a while, where it's just there, but after a while, you tune it out. It's just like, ooh, you couldn't possibly listen to it if you tried, because he's just like.
Well, should we play a clip? Should we just play a clip?
We play the clip, to
give you an idea of what we're talking about.
What's all the noise about? What's the big deal? And when I heard that from anyone, I tell them, see the fire behind my eyes? That's free of charge, friend. Because this is it.
See, that was me, Frank. I tell you, top corner.
Make bonds that are unbreakable.
Great game, well done. Not you. Well done.
Brotherhoods.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's what it's like, because perfume ads are like this, where you can't really say it smells good, because like, well, I'll take your word for it, but this is a TV ad, so they go the kind of more artistic route. Another one's like that, tea bags, like like a Barry's tea ad or a Lions tea ad. Yeah, it's always like really over the top corny, because it's like, I can't tell you how good it tastes because it's a TV ad, so like it's about the people. And the people you love and the warmth. It's like this is what my night is. It's like, it's the lightning. It's the best night of our lives. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, are you talking about going to the matches? Are you talking about playing football? Like, what is this about? And then it's like, you can't beat an original. I don't know. It's incredible. But I will say it was good, because it was well made, and there was like little cameos from Yap Stam on the. I guess wouldn't he be playing in the 90s? Why was old Yap Stam the 90s? I mean. There's some continuity errors there in that timeline.
My favorite bit is the end, where it shows that Barry Keoghan has been giving this monologue all along, sitting at the desk in the cliff, and he has like his feet up on the desk. But it's done as if it's like, this is some reveal, like he was actually in the cliff the whole time. He wasn't just at it, he was there. It's like, what's going on? I thought they were just at a match. Also, why is it just regular people playing in the Man United training ground?
Yeah, because that wouldn't happen either. Like I said, there's a lot of continuity errors. It was well made, and it was some good, like Frank Stapleton was there, and then there was, Yap Sam on the sideline, and who else was there? I was surprised, honestly, I was surprised it didn't CGI Bobby Charlton, because he's like a staple of these kind of old Man United ads. They've been relying on his nostalgia for a while, but it was well made, and it was probably closer to ads of the past that I've seen. As I said, the Arsenal thing was like kind of much more. They had a Patrick Vieira cameo, but it was like, this is not the best stuff. But I don't know, like it was just so nostalgia based. And I think it's because no one's any hope for the future, and it's like, oh God, like what, I wish we didn't live in this time, this terrible, awful, depressing, inflationary times.
Yeah,
I wish just the 90s again. We could listen to Born Slippy and fucking just play at the Cliff. Like none of those things happened. You know, you can just go and play at the Cliff. It wasn't a fucking YMCA. You know what I mean? But anyways,
you notice there's not a single phone in that ad. Everyone is just in the moment, living in the
yeah.
If that was now, no one's watching that fucking amateur game. The three boys on the dugout are on their phones.
Anyway, yeah, because there was no phones in the 90s to see. Will that's the thing. They were in the 90s. Time. I'm pretty sure. A better, simpler time, and everything's perfect and good. But yeah, I decided I was like, maybe I'm just an old man now. Maybe I'm just old, bitter, and I'm just like, oh, everything's shit. The season is shit. Football is shit. You know. So I decided to do a little bit of research because I wanted this for a while, but I didn't really have a reason. And this ad came out. I was like, all right, well, I'll compare it, you know, with other classic ads.
Yeah.
Of the genre. Like you have a lot of professional players in the ad. You got some older players doing cameos, stuff like that. You know, like the classic ad. So I went all the way back to see if I could find the first kind of version of this ad. The first thing I did find was the 94 ad. I don't know if you ever saw this. It's just like players like on murals, and then they come to life and they kick the ball across the city. It's not very high budget. This is before Michael Jordan really became Michael Jordan. So maybe they didn't have the money. Nike didn't have the money then. But yeah, that was like the first one I saw. Wasn't great. But then 96 came around. That was the first one. It was called Good versus Evil. Yeah. And it's basically set in the Colosseum in Rome. I'm not sure why, because I think the Euros 96 was in England. But because a lot of these ads were like connected to like major tournaments. But yeah, 96, the one was Good versus Evil. And like all my movie reviews, I'll start with the cast, shall I?
Yeah, hell yeah. This is like, you know what's a good movie, our favorite segment.
Yes. So yeah, they have these like players in the Colosseum, and then there's like maybe we'll play a clip of that just to, because it kind of set the scene early on.
And on that day, a dark warrior rose to the earth to destroy the beautiful game.
Maybe they're friendly.
So that's what it is. And the players are Campos, Rui Costa, Figo, Kluivert, Edgar Davids, Brolin, Swedish guy. People in Sweden know who he is. Maldini, Cantona, Ronaldo, and Wright. I mean, it's a pretty sick ad, to be honest. It's probably one of the best in the genre. Really violent, to be honest, because I guess it's the Colosseum. They're getting bet around the place, and the Devils are winning, the evil guys are winning, and then Maldini makes a crucial tackle, and the boys say, right, come on, let's beat these guys. And Cantona is like the star of the ad at this point, so he like pops his collar and drives the ball through the chest of one of the Devils.
Yeah, the devil explodes.
The devil explodes, and then it like they play our dream harp music. Yeah. And it was all a dream. I was like, do you know what it is? It's like they weren't pushing Nike that hard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's all subliminal. It's all like there's a Nike ball. They're all wearing Nike boots, obviously. It's the classic thing of, say, Cantona's wearing the Nike jersey, I think. Is he? Oh,
he's definitely wearing the United jersey in it. But I don't know if they wore Nike at the time.
I don't think they were either. That's mad.
Yeah. So maybe it was just a thing that, you know what? It was probably the boots. They were all probably a Nike boot.
I know, but usually what they do is like say, because Maldini was wearing the Italian jersey.
Oh, that's true. Maybe was he in the France jersey then?
Oh, fuck. I got to double check my research.
Yeah, that's true. I will say, I found it so weird seeing Cantona in that kind of like really commercial, like essentially like the Pepsi ads that you see that we talk about. But it's just weird. I always feel like he's from a generation before that. But no, he was fucking right in the thick of it, lifting his collar, kicking the ball into the devil's chest for the Nike tick.
Damn, I'm on the ad right now. he's wearing a full, honest to God, Umbro Man United thing, and it zooms in on the Umbro logo in the Nike ad.
That's great. I suppose they probably just didn't give a fuck because they were like, yeah, okay, Umbro, as if you'll ever match us.
Yeah, but I guess like as the years went by, Umbro were probably like, oh yes, it's free publicity. And then they went, oh, hang on, they're using the shirt that we sponsor to promote their brand. That's some fucking marketing judo right there. They've fucking done us. And maybe that's what they can. But yeah, I guess the Man United one was more relevant than the French jersey at the time. That's crazy.
I don't know. It seems mad that they'd get Cantona to do give it to one of the lads in the Nike jersey. You know what it is though? Because this is like the first one. This is like the mid-90s. I'd say the boys in charge, they were like, yeah, here's a load of money. Make an ad. Do whatever you want. And the boys making it were probably just like, let's just make a cool ad. They didn't care about the business.
Yeah. I'm looking at it again here. But like, okay, but you post this, you put this on TV, Umbro see it. And they go, we didn't let you do that. Umbro obviously said, that's fine. And then later on, I was like, wow, everybody's talking about this ad that came out. They're like, oh no. We shouldn't let them use our jersey.
Nike are the best.
Like everyone else in the picture seems to be wearing a Nike, like, because you got Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo wearing a Nike kit. Ian Wright is wearing a Nike Arsenal kit, the JVC Nike kit. Yeah, Maldini looks like he's wearing the Italian Nike kit as well. The rest are in the back. Kluivert is in the back. Figo is in the back. Looks like he's wearing a Barcelona kit at the time. I don't know if that was Nike or not. But he seems to be the only person promptly displaying another kit. You'd never see that, you know?
No, that's so weird. I never noticed that.
Damn.
I wonder, was that the deal? Like, you can only have Cantona if he's in the United kit.
If he's only in the Umbro kit?
Yeah, like maybe Man United said, or Umbro said, like, you can have him, but like, again, I'm sure these lads didn't have like image rights and stuff at the time. So maybe it was just like, Umbro did, like, Cantona's just like, right, I'm off for the day.
Yeah, it was probably...
Where are you going? Don't worry about it. I'm going to work.
Probably a less cynical time, for sure, that they could just do these things.
Yeah.
I've just paused it here again, and Figo is wearing... It's a Kappa Barcelona jersey, it looks like.
So you could just kind of do it. Just whatever.
And like Kappa and Umbro were like, oh, shit. Mate, you can't do that. It's like, we just did so long ago. It's fuck, well... We better put that in the contracts for the next one, you know? I guess Nike's got the jump on them, and they got to use the coolest jerseys, the Barcelona jersey, the Man United jersey. Like, yeah, get them in the ad.
And then even there, like nearly 30 years later, and we're like, was he in a Man United Nike?
Yeah, literally, you subliminally think like, yeah, Nike and Man United, the two, like peas in a pod. That's why Umbro like, oh, fuck. We got to change this. We can't let this happen again.
And you'd feel for Umbro because when they're in the Umbro kits, they're doing ads for Nike. And now 30 years later, Adidas are making ads being like, remember back when they all wore Adidas?
Yeah. Like, they know what they're doing. It's like, you are trying to say like, yeah, Adidas, the 90s Man United, the holy trinity of Manchester 90s. Adidas, the Cliff, us, you know. But yeah, that was a great ad, and I think that the overarching theme of all these ads is like, you have Nike athletes and Adidas athletes, typically the best ones. Especially back in the 90s, was as many brands on. I mean, Umbro obviously were around, but they hadn't caught on to. Maybe we should have our own athletes, I guess. No one was like exclusively sponsored by Umbro, it looks like. The next ad that I saw, is like, it's a classic, is the airport one with Brazil. Where and it's good because there's a story in it. Brazil at the airport, there's been a delay, they're bored. R9 takes the ball out of his suitcase and starts playing around this. You know, slowly at first, just doing it to keep you up. And then I think Rivaldo gets up and he kicks it off. I was like, okay, now we're playing a game. And then security gets the ball and takes it away. And then they kick it out of his hands. Now they're playing a game again of keep away with security. There's loads of like really cool shots where he kicked the ball through the security X-ray thing, you know. Now they're out on the tarmac, they're kicking around. Roberto Carlos does his signature curve around one of the baggage carriers, and then it weirdly ends with Ronaldo taking a shot and missing, and that ends. Which is
well, they're just having a bit of crack. They're not actually serious.
Don't worry about it, boys. Sometimes you miss the goal. Is I guess the ad for Nike. I'm not sure why they did that. I don't know why they just couldn't just score an open goal. But there's a crowd gathered down all. They're all disappointed, and the ad ends. It's very strange. But that's a good because it can all just be Nike, Brazil, and it's all good, you know. I'm sure there's probably like Adidas athletes for Brazil. You're not going in that ad. We saw what happened in 96. No chance.
We heard I got Cantona up, bro. We were saying as well before the pod, that ad is nearly surreal to see because they're like running around on an airport tarmac and like in and out of planes. Like just a few short years later, this ad would never fly.
Yeah, this is 1998, so it's pre 9/11, but it's for the World Cup. This is like the peak of the Brazil team, and it's But this is what I guess the point is that like these ads in the 90s, there wasn't like at this point any reference to the players from the 80s or the 70s.
No, they weren't doing ads about the 70s. Yeah,
you know, it was
was just like, look how sick everyone is right now in the stuff we wear right now.
I guess the Roman one was kind of a callback to the Romans, but then also it's like
yeah, kind of. But they're wearing the now jerseys.
They're wearing the current jerseys. There's no retro feel. There's no like remember when things were better. It's like the 90s, baby, the best time. Even the 90s, they knew like this is pretty sick.
Yeah,
people are going to talk about this decade. You know.
Well, that's the thing. It's like this new like fake retro thing where it's like, oh, the 90s, a simpler time where we all just gathered and played football, you know, where we enjoyed our day. And then meanwhile on telly, they're like, what if Cantona killed the devil with a football?
Yeah. You know, back then they were thinking, oh, there's all this new Hollywood crap. It's all just over the top, isn't it? You know, no one just gathers and plays football at the cliff anymore, you know. But yeah, I watched like all those ads. My favorite one ever is the Secret Tournament. That was, I think, 2002.
That's, I think, most people's. You know when people have that thing of like peak Barclays or like where you're football's better. I think that is a lot of our generation's like that is as good as it was ever because that was just the coolest shit in the world.
Yeah. This is Cantona is now retired, so he's like, but he's still part of the
Nike universe.
The Nike cinematic universe for sure. He has the aura, so he has to still be in it because he's. This is the first time where it's kind of like a callback, I guess, kind of a retro. Like,
yeah,
remember Cantona? Man, how sick was he? You know, he retired at 30. He retired at the top. You know, he was a real outlier. So he was in the ad, but then also it's like the players in it. There's like we'll play the clip of the start because again, it's in these early Nike ads. They explained what the premise was of the ad, which is really good
because back people had longer attention spans. You didn't have 3 seconds to win people over. You go, all right, 40 seconds of the ad. Tell them it's a tournament involving players they know and it's for Nike.
Yeah. I'll let Cantona take it away here.
Hidden from the world, 24 elite players hold a secret tournament with 8 teams and only one rule.
First goal wins.
Yeah, I remember being obsessed with that. I remember being obsessed, particularly with the scorpion kick goal. I used to always do that move in the garden, grab the ball between my ankles and then just like flick it over my really ineffective move. I'll say that. Like,
so lame looking now. I think just fucking kick it.
It's just like, it doesn't serve anything. You know, you're getting low. No. You're just going to throw it off somebody's shin. That's what you're going to do. But
you're going to get a boot in the head.
Yeah, I'll start with the cast of this one. Will this is 2002, so think of the 2002 World Cup. You had so like as you mentioned, there was like 4 boats heading towards the shipping vessel. 8 teams, 3 on a team. Right, team 1: Henri, Totti, Nakata, the Japanese player Nakata, Vieira, Van Nistelrooy, Scholes, Ljungberg, Saviola, Luis Enrique, Davids, Thuram, Wiltord, Figo, Roberto Carlos, Ronaldo. That's an overpowered team for sure, that one. Danielson, Ronaldinho, Sciol, Cannavaro, Rosicky, Ferdinand, Claudio Lopez, Mendieta, Crespo. I mean, it's all like,
it's insane.
Most of those players, the vast majority, I don't have to look up. You know what I mean? I know who they are. And there's always a star. I think Henri is really the star of this one. He's the one that is going to be the star of the World Cup in 2002 and all that. He's the one that they're looking for. Then you have Ronaldinho is very prominent in it. Ronaldo is very prominent in it. But I remember being obsessed with that. But the only thing is I guess, Cantona as the MC is like, oh, I remember Cantona. But the rest is all very, very current. It's all like Very 2002. And they also get around the kind of the jersey and the club thing by just having them in generic Nike kits that they sell probably in the shop, like workout gear.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a double whammy. You'd be like, look at all these Nike boots, look at all these Nike balls, look at all this Nike jersey. Do you want to be like the boys? Like, it's genius. Because it's one thing if you're just like advertising your boots, but it's like, well, not everyone's fucking playing football. Do you know what I mean? But I'll get the jersey, and it's like, I support Man United. I can't wear the other jerseys, but I'll wear the generic one.
Should I go on just naming ads, or will we?
I think one more. I think the Western one is probably probably my favorite of the lot, because it feels like it's where they really push the boat out to be like, let's make a kind of arty one. Like, there's not much like cool things happening in this ad.
Yeah, as you said, one of the biggest issues they had was like, say, Adidas had Zidane and Beckham, and Nike had, Figo, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo. So like, you can never get them in the same ad, because at this point, after the 96 debacle of the Umbro shirts in the Nike ad, they all copped on and locked down those contracts, like no Nike ads, only Adidas ads, or vice versa. But they probably did mention Pepsi, because who would have thought, what's this football have to do with Pepsi? It's like, you'll see. And one of the classic ads is the Western ad. Now there is another one with Pepsi. The townsfolks one.
Gladiators,
that one actually is, honestly, Will, I've watched them all, completely overrated.
Really? Doesn't hold up?
Yeah. It's just, there's no story to it. It doesn't make any sense. That
they're just kind of kicking ball. They're just playing a game, kind of.
Well, there's like these people who are like pillaging the town, and then like Beckham, Ronaldinho
vanquish them.
Well, they show up and they're like in like gear, like kind of gladiator gear, and they look sick, and they have their names kind of embossed on the back. It's like, oh yeah, cool. And so then the bad guys charge them, and then they just kick the ball up in the air, and then the bad guys chase the ball. It's like, oh, are we playing football? Because that wasn't kind of outlined beforehand. And then it's just like Ronaldinho does, like the whole theme of the thing changes because Ronaldinho's such a big star, and he just starts doing samba moves, and everyone's like transfixed by him. He starts like going by players, like, well, what are we doing? Are we fighting them? Are we? And then it goes back to the normal music. Now Ronaldinho's off the ball, and it cuts to Roberto Carlos taking a free kick, and they're lined up in a free kick in a wall. It's like, well, what? He kicks the ball, it hits a gate, and loads of Pepsi cans fall out and knocks him over. I was like, I definitely remember this ad being better,
Well, why were they in a wall if that's what they were covering?
They were covering the Pepsi, I guess. But they wasn't clear they were stealing the Pepsi from the townsfolk. Look like they were trying to kill them,
Yeah, again, if this ad was in the 90s, Roberto Carlos would have took that free kick and it would have beheaded one of the men.
But there was a good one, a very similar aesthetic to it, the Western. It's another Pepsi ad. And it's Man United versus Real Madrid, which this is 2003. So it's like, the peak of maybe both those teams in terms of like David Beckham was at his peak of his fame. That was the Galacticos team who won the Champions League a couple of times as well. Real Madrid are in there in like white Western clothes, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Man United walk through the saloon doors, and it has them all. It's got Scholes, it's got gigs.
Literally.
I don't know if Roy Keane was in it. I feel like Roy Keane wouldn't have wanted anything to do with this tomfoolery.
Keano wasn't in it, definitely. I had my eyes peeled for him. This was around when he left, though, wasn't it?
Well, he left in 2005, so he would have been there in 2003.
I wonder, was he in a state of, I'll play, but I'm not doing any of the extra shit?
I don't know. Yeah, I thought he'd be in it, but it had most of my United stars in it anyway.
Gary Neville is there fucking looking terrified to be on camera.
They got Neville, they couldn't get Keane. They got gigs, got Scholes. But then they had Figo, they had Raul, they had all of the Real Madrid players, Roberto Carlos. Roberto Carlos is a big Pepsi guy. He's in all the Pepsi ads.
Yeah, he's huge, yeah. And they're also, like you said, they're wearing Western outfits, but it's like, they're kind of wearing like dusters or trench coats and cowboy hats. But they all have their names and numbers on the back, which is cool.
Embossed on the back, as per all the Pepsi ads, the name's got to be there. Just in case people didn't know. Yeah, we got him. We got Beckham.
Solskjaer is in the ad.
Solskjaer is there. Very prominently, Solskjaer is embossed on the back. So it starts with like, I think, Beckham, of course, leader of United. Yeah. I'm sure this is probably part of Alex Ferguson, who's like watching TV when I got that fucking prick. I'm the leader of United, not you. I should be in that Pepsi ad.
The Umbro all over again.
He goes to the bar. He orders a Pepsi at the bar, as people do in the West. They order Pepsis. A
glass bottle of Pepsi, please.
Oh no, this is a branded can in the West, of course, just like the old West. The branded can of Pepsi slid across, and the Casillas goes, "You're a fucking bitch," or whatever. They go, "Let's take this outside, like a showdown," you know. Yeah, and he's in goal, of course. And Beckham is going to take a free kick, but the ball's in the middle, so I guess like he's going to rush out, he's going to kick it, and who's going to move first? And then Beckham cheats and gets the horse to kick it in, and Real Madrid are angry and Man United are happy. And then out steps Roberto Carlos out of the barber's, who's getting his hair cut, which is funny because he doesn't have any hair. And the ad ends as like want more, or the fuck the slogan was. But it was different. It was good, and it had all the kind of Nike and Adidas come together. But there's been so many good ads in the genre of like loads of good players. One thing, I guess this is a Man United ad, so you can't have that many good players from different clubs. It wouldn't make any sense. But we decided, based on our research of watching all these classic ads, we would come up with an ad.
We're going to try to do it live.
For the 2028 World Cup, I guess we'll.
Yeah, which is in America, Mexico, Canada, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm thinking of like a very long story that you could break up into different ads.
Yeah. A 4-parter maybe.
Well, it'd be, if the full video, it'll never air. You know, it'll air on YouTube, maybe. It'll go live on YouTube and people see the ads, and then you'll see shortened versions of the ad that you'll remember, right?
Yeah.
We're going to combine those of the elements of the classic ads, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be, it's America and Canada and all that. It's like the worst place ever. It's far from literally everywhere except for those countries, you know?
Yeah.
So everyone's going to be what? They're going to be flying to the event, right?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So we're in the airport and we're bored. You know, we're gonna take a ball out of our bag, just like Ronaldo back in the day. He'll have a cameo, of course. The ball, they're going to zoom by him. He's going to be standing. He's going to laugh. You know, even though he should be in Brazil, but he's not.
Maybe the whole Brazil team is there.
Yeah. Maybe
they're all sitting at the bar and they nod and wink.
Ronaldo, Roberto Carlos, AC Zago, they're all there, right? Can you believe they got AC Zago for that ad? So they're bored, and a football match breaks out at the airport, right? But as we said, this is very much post 9/11, so it's stopped immediately, and they get kicked out the airport, and they're banned. They can't fly.
Yeah. So now, how are we going to get to the World Cup? It's on tomorrow.
They're going to make reference to the famous 1938 World Cup, which was in Uruguay. I don't know who the historian and nerd is going to bring that up. Maybe
Fabrizio Romano.
Fabrizio Romano might be in the ad. Is he a football historian?
Here we go.
Oh, well, he'll be on the boat. He'll say, "Here we go," for sure.
He's the captain. Yeah.
Who's like the smartest? Akanji. Did you ever see him do mental maths?
Yeah.
He's going to say, in 1938 they run over a boat, and all the European players went on this big boat and sailed over because planes weren't, I guess, safe or didn't. I don't know if they crossed the Atlantic at that point. I'm not sure, but they went over one boat, and of course it's like it's mayhem on the boat. More football on the boat. Again, this is like you'll see this bit of the ad at a different time. So they're playing football on the boat, and
it's like literally it's. Not the other way, like in all the old ads. It's like you see one ball and they're playing. I think there's multiple different games happening all over. Everywhere you look, you're seeing like fucking Victor Lindelof is tackling, I don't know, Fulkrug and another. There's just games happening everywhere.
I love you went straight to Victor Lindelof with the fucking Nike ad or whatever. I mean, I guess this is
because I was thinking because he wouldn't be like an obvious. It's just you're flying. There's so many players happening. You're like, whoa, who's that? Who's that?
Is that Victor Lindelof? Okay, so they're on the boat heading towards, I guess, America. That a Christopher Columbus type thing. It would be an Italian thing.
They can go by the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. What about it got so crazy, Will, on the boat. The captain gets involved, and the boat crashes into America, and they crash into the stadium.
Here we go.
They go all the way through town into the stadium. It's the football match spills out the boat into the stadium, into the opening game, and you've got all the guests, the captain of the ship, the other sailors, the on-ship entertainment, and then it's going to be, of course, it's America, so you got to have all the Hollywood stars. So Tom Cruise will be there, LeBron James.
Yeah, he's skydiving in. He's in a plane with Beckham. Beckham is flying the plane that he dives out of. Yeah,
it gets to we'll say who'll be the best striker, who'll be the best player in the world 28, who'll be like the star. I guess Foden will say, or something like that, or maybe Yamal. Yamal gets the ball. He goes by these sailors, goes by whatever, and he kicks a ball in goal. And who's in goal in a USA jersey? LeBron James.
Yes,
because that's what they always say. It's like we have LeBron James in goal, and then impossible is nothing, or whatever the Nike thing is, or and that's the ad.
Yeah, easy.
Maybe forget the airport at the start. Maybe just the boat. I don't know. Maybe there's a problem with the flights.
That's the extended cut. Is the boat? There's the plane thing and all that. Because you got to get the call back to the original ad.
Yeah, you got, because it's all nostalgia based. It's all the call.
Yeah,
so it's a callback to that. It's a callback to the boat in 1938. How could we forget? That's we'll workshop a bit more. We can think a bit more about that, I guess.
That's it.
I mean, sound off the comments if you have any of your other favorite ads. I mean, there's so many good ones. Over the years, but I don't know. I wasn't a fan of that My Night one. I just too nostalgia heavy for me, Will.
Yeah, do you know what the United one is really? It just showed me that if you put Born Slippy under anything, it sounds like important and, again, nostalgic. It makes even the worst gibberish sound like it has meaning to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we have to test that out someday. But, well, look, for the end of this episode, I guess, it ends. It begins and it ends. And maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't. That's how it goes. Maybe you got it, maybe you didn't. For those who did get it, there's more where that came from. Link in the description of the episode. And if you click on that, maybe click on something else. Maybe click on the link to the retro shirts we have also in our bio of this episode. Maybe you get a retro shirt, maybe you don't. Maybe we get some 10% of that. That's what the fucking ad sounds like to me. That kind of like in and out, yes and no. But I mean, all that's good stuff. We'll be back later on in the week, Will, for another football episode. Link in the description of this episode to get that. We'll be talking football, I guess. What's happened this week?
I don't know. We might be in trouble.
There'll be more news. Another football episode, I guess. Stay tuned for that. Ultra only episode, of course. I don't know. Fuck, I've lost track now. When I was speaking there, I was trying to think of how Born Slippy goes in my head. That's why it sounded so incoherent.